Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to part 5.
Do you have your box
Cassadine.
of tissues?
I do. It's right here.
Do you? All right, good.
This is from Amanda's leaving.
I am. I'm out the door. I can't deal with your tears today. I'm sorry.
The cat's ready to leave.
They were already like, we're over this. Sorry.
Like, oh, that's what we're here for. So it is from January of 2024 through July 31st, 2026. This is where James Patrick Stewart left the show a lot during this time because we only have 9 pages for 2.5 years.
I'm pretty sure you cried every single one of those 9 times too.
Quite possibly.
I think so.
Here's the thing though. He has never been on contract. So there is never a promise he's coming back.
Well, I'm going to yell at him whenever we do eventually someday get to interview him for playing with your emotions.
Right? You have to admit, the one in the spring of 2025 felt like it was it. I feel like that was the one that I cried the most at. Was. Mm-hmm. So we will get there.
I agree.
But in the meantime, continuing with our sources, soapcentral.com, wubs.net, General Hospital Fandom, a little bit of YouTube, and I don't think there were any other articles that I used for this one. So last episode, part 4, we left off where Valentin and Anna broke up, and it was after Anna had shot Charlotte because Valentin did not let her know that Charlotte was stalking her.
Yep.
And I feel like we actually really did not do a good job of capturing Anna's emotions at the time that was happening. She was so on edge. I mean, she was looking over her shoulder everywhere she went. And it devastated her when she found out that she shot a child, let alone Charlotte. So we kind of pick up, it's still December of 2023, just because I felt like that was a good place to stop was when they broke up. And then we pick up where, still around Christmas time, Valentin had ended things with Anna. And at the same time, Charlotte was at home on Christmas Eve waiting for him. Kevin and Laura are the ones who showed up instead. And they were wrapping presents at Valentin's request since Charlotte had been asleep when he left. And she wanted to know why her father would disappear on Christmas Eve of all nights after everything from the year before. And Laura and Kevin just really didn't know what to say. Like, oh, sorry, he's breaking up with the woman who shot you.
Right.
Because he just didn't tell her that you were terrorizing him. You were terrorizing her. So then later alone in her room, and this is still where Charlotte is still using the tarot cards and still kind of thinking. So part of the reason why Charlotte shot Anna was Charlotte was stalking Anna is because Victor had basically said Anna was going to steal Valentin from her. She was bad news. She was going to take her dad down, so she thought that she was protecting Valentin. And so she lifted up her shirt and was looking at what she called her first battle scar, and then tried on the necklace that Victor left her in his will of the Cassadine crest. And she just said anything for family as she looked at her reflection and before deciding that, this is really not Christmas appropriate. However, Kevin was coming up to see her and he overheard all of it and he saw, she was like really proud of her scar. So then he went downstairs and told Laura everything that he had seen. And she was really concerned about Charlotte, about the fact that, she would take pride in being shot at the time. How old was she? So what was this, 2020, like 13? she's not adding a teardrop to her eye or anything like that, but she's admiring that. Surprisingly, at the time, she wasn't like, hey, I should go get that, tattooed. And that Charlotte was really still kind of stuck on everything that Victor was saying. Kevin's read was that Charlotte was reaching for the darkest people in the family tree as a way of coping with what she had been through, kind of embracing, okay, this is just me being a Cassadine. You get shot sometimes. And then Laura had spent years trying to keep Nicholas from that same thing. But she never thought that she would watch it happen again with her granddaughter. And she told Kevin that she cannot bear to lose her. And then weeks went by. Valentin told Alexis that he had bought the Invader out from under Sean Butler because for some reason, we just decided to let Sean Butler go and leave. Instead of starting a podcast of his own, which would have been amazing with that voice, he and Alexis should have had a podcast.
They should have.
She threatened to quit if he touched any of her editorial control, and he said that he had no reason to. Valentin mentioned that they needed a new publisher, someone with vision who had done the job before, and then walked in Nina. Having no idea, though, and I did feel bad for Nina with this because Valentin had not told Alexis that Nina had the job, but he had told Nina that she had the job. So she walked in thinking, hey, I'm going to go talk to Alexis. She's already on board. No.
Mm-hmm.
So then Alexis was furious at being blindsided. And then Nina explained that Drew had fired her from Crimson out of spite and told Valentin that she intended to make the Invader work. And then out in the hallway, Nina thanked Valentin for backing her, and she floated the idea of livening up coverage, starting with Carly and Drew when they were doing their whole SEC investigation thing. Then Robert showed up not long after with news from the DA's office. No charges were going to be filed on Charlotte over the break-ins, the vandalism, the stalking, so long as she did 1,000 hours of community service, 3 years probation, so that should not be ending until 2027.
Right.
And court-ordered therapy, which I don't think we've ever seen her do.
Nope.
This is where I disagree with my man. Valentin thought it was too much to put on a teenager. No, if your teenager is doing that, they need this.
Mm-hmm.
Robert didn't let him off that easily, telling him that Charlotte didn't deserve prison, but he did. And for covering for Charlotte and lying to Anna for months on end. Venting to Nina afterward, Valentin called both Robert and Diane people who fed off other people's misery. Oh, this was the beginning of Robert and Diane. And the two of them agreed the terms were absurd, given how much of it traced back to Victor pulling Charlotte's strings in the first place. Again, they were asking her to do therapy.
Right.
You want to know what's going to undo Victor's pull?
Mm-hmm.
It may be community service, out doing good in the community. Then when the subject turned to Nina's marriage, Valentin told her not to make Sonny's divorce easy on him. Sometimes the best way to get what you want is not by giving someone what they want, he said. And then we jumped to where a prison transport van pulled off a back highway one afternoon. The door opened and it was Valentin greeting the prisoner inside like an old friend, Jack. He and Brennan had been running Pikeman together for years, and we never hear Brennan talking about this.
Nope.
And Valentin had taken over the operation the moment that Brennan was arrested. Brennan wanted to know what had gone wrong with the hit on Sonny, and Valentin told him that Jason had been planted on the sniper crew under a fake name specifically to blow it up from the inside. His plan didn't involve hitmen. He had already gone to Sonny's pharmacist and had his bipolar medication. This is where I was really not happy with him. Already had his bipolar medication cut down to almost nothing. And that's what Sonny was just telling Carly that Valentin did with helping Ava.
Mm-hmm.
Cut back his or Ava was cutting back his medication, but it was actually Valentin.
I can't believe whenever Valentin was trying to make the negotiations for the safe to get his money unfrozen, that he didn't bring all this up.
Right.
We've been friends for so many years. Don't keep my assets frozen.
Right. And does Nina know all this about Jack, that he was involved with Pikeman?
Probably not.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
So that would have
When-
been the most opportune time to say,
Mhm.
come on, back when we were business partners,
Right.
and then throw up like little ears on her. Like, wait, what was he talking about? So then Sonny spiraled on his own. No, Sonny responded to not being properly medicated for his mental health.
Yep.
And basically, they were saying that once he was not medicated and acting the way that he would be without being medicated, that he'd be very easy to take down. And then Valentin had even planted the idea in Sonny's head that some mystery enemy named Stone was behind it all, so Pikeman would never come up. Brennan couldn't resist bringing up Anna, pointing out Valentin had finally gotten the one woman he'd always wanted, only to watch himself blow it up. Valentin's voice went cold. If Anna finds out my involvement with Pikeman, this van is going to be the last thing you see outside of the prison walls, he said, and then he walked off, trying to pump the driver for information before finding out that the driver was deaf. Brennan laughed as he was signed back into custody. You're good. Basically saying good job on getting a deaf driver because, we're not going to shut up. So, I mean, that was smart too, but still.
It was.
messed
It
up.
was smart. I mean, they can't remember to go into quiet offices to discuss their business usually. So thinking that far ahead was impressive.
And then Ava found out who was tampering when 2 of Sonny's sleeping pills did nothing at all because she had taken them and they did nothing. And then Anna, meanwhile, was still hunting for whoever was running Pikeman with Brennan locked up. And over lunch one day, asked Valentin if he remembered a man named Jack Brennan from their academy days. The two of them were always pushing each other to be sharper, and he told her that she must be thinking of someone else. Then Sonny kept unraveling, drinking again, trusting no one, while Ava's suspicions grew. Valentin met Brennan a second time, and this time in an empty warden's office. Brennan's suggestion was simple: kill Sonny and let Jason take the fall. Valentin told him that they couldn't afford to meet face to face again. And real quick, this was when Jason was coming back from having been buried under rubble.
Mm-hmm.
We have to keep track of, Jason's comebacks.
Right?
Anna asked Valentin directly for help in finding whoever was behind Pikeman, with no idea that she was asking the man responsible. She sent him flowers. She agreed to dinner. She told Felicia that she missed him but didn't trust him, all while working with Jason behind the scenes to bring him down. Over wine one night, the two of them traded lines about closing the door to the past, and Valentin told her he compartmentalized so that whatever I feel compelled to do doesn't affect the people I love the most. And then Brennan staged an escape from the hospital room with a bent paper clip, which is so 1960s, and met Valentin in a stairwell to inform him that the FBI was already circling Pikeman and had likely planted a sniper themselves. Valentin waved it off and revealed the actual plan. Let Sonny do the job of removing Jason from the board so Jason could never expose anything. That night, 2 shooters opened fire on Jason outside a coffee warehouse. He killed one. The other one got away. Anna found a burner phone on a dead man with a single number saved in it and called it. Is it done? Just tell me if it's done, Valentin's voice said. She stayed silent. He caught the trouble in it and hung up. Sorry. And then in the interrogation room, Jason worked out that the voice on the other end hadn't been Sonny's at all. Anna told him that it was Valentin, the actual head of Pikeman, using a classic piece of tradecraft to eliminate Jason and frame Sonny at the same time. She wasn't ready to go to the FBI yet. She had his voice, but no recording. And if he ran before there was proof, Jason would never be cleared. Her plan was to use what Valentin felt for her to get close enough to find real evidence. Jason called it a long game and let her run it.
For weeks after that, Anna and Valentin fell into something that didn't feel like a con to her, even though she knew better. He apologized for missed dinners, told her that she mattered more than any of his corporate deals, even though he kept going to all of them. Every morning, she searched his
He
house while
didn't know that she knew what corporate deals he was going to.
I understand that, but don't tell me that I matter and then spend time doing other things.
Well, she thought that he thought that she thought that he was talking about the paper.
Right. He thought that she was dumb, and
Right.
she's not.
Right.
Every morning, she searched his house while he cooked breakfast, and one morning she found a satellite phone hidden behind the bookshelf. Brennan warned...
phones.
Are you
That's what almost got them in trouble on the island.
Right?
Was the satellite phone.
Brennan warned her separately that John Cates suspected she was running Pikeman based on 5 years of forged emails Valentin had planted to point suspicion anywhere but at himself. Piecing it together, Anna realized he wasn't trying to frame her outright. He was using her as a cover, close enough to her that he wouldn't risk sending her to prison, but not close enough to stop using her either.
That's cool.
Stupid Cates.
Listen, I already said I was not happy with Valentin during this time, right? Okay.
Charlotte came home early from boarding school and walked in on the two of them together, and out of that came an uneasy peace between her and Anna. Charlotte owning what she'd done and saying that meeting refugee kids abroad had finally shown her what Victor actually was. Anna called shooting her the worst thing she'd ever done, and they hugged it out. Not long after, Anna asked Jason for a 2-hour head start before she turned in what she had, wanting to warn Valentin and let him get out of the country with Charlotte rather than face arrest. Jason agreed, more for Charlotte's sake than his. Anna went straight to Valentin and told him to call his daughter home. "What's happening? What have you done?" he asked. "I turned you into the FBI as head of Pikeman," she said. "You're going to have to leave the country immediately." He has no right to say any of this, but okay. He asked if any of it had been real.
Yeah, right?
She told him...
You mean the 5 years that you just framed me for your stuff?
Right, exactly. You tell me if any of it's real, buddy. She told him it was never about him, it was about Charlotte. He made the call, confirmed she was already on the way, and turned back. "I have another plan," he said. "You come with me." She said no, though it cost her something to say it. In the minutes they had left, he told her everything that he'd known about Pikeman since its founding, since the WSB's own director had helped create it, that her deflection years earlier had given the whole operation its legitimacy that it should have never had, and that its real job was funneling arms and money to whoever the WSB wanted funded, sometimes against its own government interests. When he resigned in disgrace, he had stayed close to Pikeman because it paid and because they still needed him. "And then you busted Brennan," he said. "I guess I was out of reasons to be a good boy."
But
she wished he had told her the truth back then when they were still together. He said he had thought about it, but telling her would have forced her hand as an agent. She asked about the forged emails. He admitted it, but insisted that there had been nothing real in them, just red herrings. "You love me," she said, "but you still couldn't resist using me." He apologized. She told him she was sure he'd do it again. "The problem is any good in me, any good at all, is because of you," he said. She told him he had a good heart on his own, whether he believed it or not. Before Charlotte got there, he asked her to say she wanted to go with him, even if it wasn't true. "If I could go with you, I would in a heartbeat," she said. "You mean that? You'll never know." Charlotte walked in moments later. By the time John Cates and his agents broke down the door, father and daughter were already gone. Anna sat in her car outside and watched it happen with something that looked almost like a smile. I do like their flirtiness to the end, but at the same time, come on, Anna. He was setting you up.
But he wasn't. Like that.
But he did. Don't use my name in it at all. Pick someone else.
That's right. Right. No.
There's enough bad agents. Pick someone else.
Right.
The manhunt stretched across several countries. Laura found their phones disconnected, their emails bouncing, Charlotte's social media wiped clean. Anna quietly pulled in Jason and eventually Carly to help. Spinelli tracked down a lead in Zurich. Lulu flew to Prague and met Charlotte in a cafe, slipping a tracker into her purse mid-conversation. Valentin appeared in the window before the reunion could go any further, and Charlotte's face went white at the sight of him. Not long after, a sniper turned up on the rooftop across the street, aimed at the cafe. In the
Because
scramble that
Lulu.
got followed.
Okay.
In the scramble that followed, Valentin told Lulu that Charlotte wasn't safe back home, laying out what Victor had done to her and how Anna's shooting had been an accident. Lulu begged him to let her go. Dante's arrival made Valentin certain he'd walked into a setup. As the sniper lined up the shot, Dante pulled Lulu to safety while Valentin and Charlotte ran. Lulu found her planted tracker tossed in the bushes. Valentin had found and ditched it. Given the choice, Charlotte chose to stay with her father. But even the whole shooting, like, no, that was your fault, Valentin, because you weren't telling Anna what Charlotte was doing. So that whole conversation with Lulu wasn't okay either.
Wait.
I really don't like your man
When
here, I'm
Lulu went to
sorry.
Prague? No, when Lulu went
When
to
Lulu
Prague
went-
and they got shot
when
at,
Lu-
that was Lulu's fault.
Okay,
Because
when
they had
Lulu
already
went to
been there and they
Prague-
weren't being shot at. The only reason that they got shot at is because Lulu uncovered it.
I agree that it was Lulu's fault that they got shot at in Prague because she was stupid and got followed. But whenever he was saying, well, she can't go back to Port Charles because it's not safe there, that's not true. The reason that it wasn't safe there was because you weren't parenting whenever you were there. So it's all your fault, Valentin.
Well,
I
are you
know, you're
referring
not
to the
gonna-
no. Are you referring to the fact that like he was not preventing her from doing harm to Anna?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he should have been, and then she wouldn't have.
She should have been in
got so far
therapy.
into it, right?
Yeah.
And then
I don't think that he really, honest to goodness, though, thought that she was going to do the things that she was doing.
I'm sure that he didn't. I don't think any parent thinks that. But whenever you see warning signs, you got to act on them. It's better to be more cautious than to just ignore stuff. Just how it is.
You are talking to the woman who has like everybody in therapy. So.
Exactly. I know. At a spa in Germany, Valentin caught up with Brennan and strangled him with a cord for what happened in Prague. This is for Prague. You tried to kill me in front of my daughter. Burn in heck, Jack, he said, and the two of them
You can
tore
say
the
it
room
there. It's a
apart.
place.
I can't.
You can. It's a place then.
Not when he says it like that. All right, I'll say it. If you get yelled at, then it's your fault.
No, that's a place.
At a spa in Germany, Valentin caught up with Brennan and strangled him with a cord for what happened in Prague. This is for Prague. You tried to kill me in front of my daughter. Burn in hell, Jack, he said. And the two of them tore the room apart before Carly burst in and knocked Valentin out with a vase, saving Brennan's life. Too bad she came to regret that later. Cornered in Buenos
You know what, though?
Aires.
He has never brought up any of the stuff that she also did to him. He did worse. But not on purpose to her.
I mean, she forgave him well enough, we've seen, so.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm. Cornered in Buenos Aires, Valentin told Charlotte it was time to say goodbye, admitting he should let her go back with Lulu in Prague. Should have let her go back to Lulu in Prague. He told her that he'd deliberately misled Lulu towards Buenos Aires, texting Rocco while pretending to be Charlotte, just to pull the search away from whenever Anna and Jason might actually find them. Charlotte couldn't believe he'd do that. He told her she belonged with her mother. No, she said, I belong with you. Anna and Jason arrived moments later, warning of a WSB kill team operating outside Brennan's control, closing in to finish them. They fought the assassins back in time. Charlotte flew home with Jason. Valentin, safe for the moment, greeted Anna simply, hello, Anna. You shouldn't say it like that. That sounds like...
I know. Where's JD?
JD?
We need the...
right?
Hello,
That's
Anna.
all I could hear.
Is my husband saying hello, Anna. You don't after you've talked to JD enough about it, you don't even hear Faison anymore. You hear JD doing Faison.
She gave him a small smile back. He stayed behind, still on the run. Back in Port Charles, undercover, Valentin laced a bottle of champagne meant for Brennan with plutonium, and it was Carly who drank it by mistake, collapsing into cardiac arrest before Brennan got the antidote into her on time. The same night, Valentin broke into his old house, now Sonny's, to retrieve fake passports hidden behind the fireplace, one under the name Will Cortland.
I forgot about that. I forgot Sonny's house was Valentin's for like a minute. It was only for
like 2 months, I swear.
Yeah.
Sonny
did not do a final walkthrough.
What'd you think, to remove stuff from the fireplace? I didn't remove bricks from my fireplace.
He obviously did not get a home inspection.
Guess not. I don't know. I don't
Get
know
your
if
home
they'd find that. I don't know that they'd find bricks that pulled out to reveal passports, but okay. Where am I at now? Valentin broke into his old house. Sonny caught him at gunpoint.
No, it was the name. What was the one name?
Oh, Will Cortland.
Which was his name on All My Children?
Cortland's All My Children. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was his name that was James Patrick Stewart's character on All My Children.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is. Anyway, Sonny caught him at gunpoint and let him go anyway after Valentin gave up the name of the man behind an earlier hit on the penthouse. Sonny tipped off Brennan, regardless, who caught up with Valentin at the docks and had a gun on him before Anna arrived and talked him down, calling on their shared history at the WSB. None of that matters. You've committed too many crimes, my darling. You have to face justice. It's over, she told him, and called it in herself. I love whenever Anna's being Anna. Valentin was
All
sentenced.
My Children.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Valentin was sentenced to life at Steinmauer. He told Alexis had already arranged to move Cassadine money through the Greek courts to secure Charlotte's future, and Alexis promised Charlotte would never want for love no matter what she thought of her father. Charlotte got to see him before the transfer. He told her he loved her, always had, and asked Lulu to look after her, which obviously she would because she's her mother. To Anna, all he said on his way out was, "Till next time." Okay, she may not look after her the way that he thinks that she should be looked after, but she's not just going to be like, "Oh, go figure this out on your own, kid."
And that is when I lost it. That was hard.
Let's see if you can make it through this part without tears.
Oh, I'll be fine, because that's when I bawled my eyes out, is when he left that time. But then in the fall, he was still locked up, and he started to bargain with Brennan over video calls for scraps of information about something called Faison's Last Project, because they're so creative with the names,
in
exchange for a chance to see Anna, a trade that Brennan never agreed to. Anna herself was later taken and held, unknown to anyone, at Windermere, pulled into the same conspiracy that Valentin had been circling from a cell the whole time. Right. So meanwhile, at the same time, back in Port Charles, is when Carly found out that Jocelyn was in the WSB and wanted to get her out of it. And she came up with the brilliant idea of going to see Valentin and Steinmauer, pretending to be his attorney to help get Joss out of the WSB, because she now no longer trusted Brennan, because that's who got Joss into the WSB. So then, I forget exactly how it happened. She wound up being able to somehow get him transferred.
She convinced Jack that transferring him back to the U.S. would be best for everyone, because then Charlotte could at least get to visit. She played the Charlotte card.
Yep. And then on Thanksgiving night, mid-flight during the passenger transfer, Valentin worked himself out of the restraints, grabbed a parachute, and jumped, landing somewhere outside of Port Charles, a la D.B. Cooper. And then he and Charlotte built a signal system out of colored ribbons. Red was for he was coming home, blue was to stay put, along with the sign language for "I love you," so they could talk without anyone catching on.
I feel like "I love you" is pretty.
"I love you" is universal sign language. He moved out of Carly's shed into her attic on one condition: he'd only stay until Anna came back. Around then, Sidwell was he was buying Windermere. He told his son Marco that Charlotte could be useful bait and warned her directly to watch Ace close. Oh, he did that outside of Bobby's.
Mm-hmm. She was babysitting.
And because kids could vanish in an instant, and that left, and then Charlotte went and told Laura. And of course, Laura, that did not sit very well with Laura. So then Charlotte kept sneaking to see her father, telling him once that she had met Sidwell and found him unsettling. Valentin didn't sugarcoat it. He told her that Sidwell was dangerous. Carly caught him packing one afternoon and refused to let him leave with Charlotte in tow, and the two of them settled into an arrangement that he would stay until he had a way out. Then not long after, Valentin had sent Carly to search Brendan's hotel room while he took Spoon Island to himself. Ava caught him near the fireplace, not stealthily at all, by her own account, and mentioned that she had already destroyed the trigger to the castle's old secret passage. He asked her to give Nina his love and then took it back just as fast. Carly photographed hidden documents in Brennan's room and barely avoided getting caught herself. When they compared notes, Ava had seen him, and Valentin was now convinced whatever Brennan was hiding was somewhere on Spoon Island. Then there was a blizzard that nearly blew up the whole thing. At the Metro Court, Brennan pressured Nina to pull Valentin's location out of Charlotte, threatening old footage could ruin Willow if she refused. Because remember, Brennan wiped the footage of Willow going to shoot Drew from
The traffic cam.
Yeah. Sorry, Charlotte overheard the whole thing and bolted into the storm. Lulu was sure that Valentin had taken her. Valentin argued with Carly to let him go find her himself, and she refused, worried about him being seen. He tried to leave anyway, and she followed him into the storm and dragged him back half frozen. Once they were inside, she told him that she was starting to tell Valentin the man apart from Valentin the threat, and he admitted for the first time that he wanted to be the first one. I don't know. I feel like he kind of wanted to be the man with Anna.
Mm-hmm.
Brennan turned up at Carly's the same night without warning, and Valentin hid upstairs while Carly explained away the 2 wine glasses that were on the counter. So then Valentin found out that Anna was being held in a French clinic, and he started to use a burner phone and was posing as family, and learned that she was still insisting that Faison was alive against, all evidence that nobody has other than a brain on somebody's desk.
Kind of like Shannon.
A brain. It could be anyone's brain.
No evidence that he's still alive.
There's also no evidence he's dead, because we don't know that that's his brain.
All right.
So anyway, Valentin destroyed the phone and the SIM card the moment that he hung up. Carly, meanwhile, talked her way into Windermere's wine cellar under the excuse of restocking the Metro Court's list. Working her way towards the sealed catacomb entrance, Valentin believed hid whatever Brendan was looking for. Then Jocelyn found Valentin hiding in the attic, kicked him, pistol whipped him, tied him up, and gave her mother 24 hours to get rid of him, or she would turn him in herself. Carly did not. And around the same stretch of time is when she and Valentin got a little smoochy. Wait, so then Valentin asked Carly outright whether she had slept with him to get back at Brennan or because she wanted to. And she asked, what if it was a little of both?
That was cute and flirty.
And then the two of them kept getting pulled deeper in. Valentin brought Nina into it once he learned that Brennan was blackmailing her with old footage of Willow, proposing that they feed him false information about where he was hiding. Then Joss was working her own angle and found proof that Brennan was working as a double agent. Valentin, Carly, and Joss worked out that Brennan and Cullum had deliberately worked together to basically make Anna go crazy. But Brennan didn't really have anything to do with it. They just thought that he did.
Mm-hmm.
So then Charlotte called Valentin, but it was really Danny calling Carly because they had gotten into a car accident, and it just so happened to be right down the road from when Jordan Ashford had her car accident. Carly took Valentin to the spot, and when they pulled up, they saw that Curtis and Jordan were in the car accident. Valentin told Carly to, go on ahead, call 911, and that he went and helped Curtis pull Jordan out of the car, right before it exploded. And then he told Curtis to keep the whole thing quiet and said that he owed him. And then Valentin was back at Carly's house. And so while Carly and Valentin were starting to hook up, she and Brennan were still together. But they weren't together because but Brennan told Carly that he loved her. And then the two of them went upstairs together. And she had to, be convincing of their relationship. But she kept having flashbacks to Valentin, so that was pretty cool. And the next morning, he asked Carly flat out, how long would it be until she turned on him? She denied it, but not very convincingly. He told her that he was jealous and that he hated seeing her with Brennan, and that whatever he felt for her came from actually knowing her. She told him that he didn't know her at all, and that if he thought she'd ever betray him. Then Valentin let himself into Nina's apartment and asked if she wanted to know where he had been, or whether Jack Brennan already did, letting her know that he was aware of her assignment. Because, Charlotte had overheard.
Mm-hmm.
So she told Valentin, Nina is trying to get your location out of me.
Yep.
And then, cornered by the threat to Willow, she admitted, and the two agreed to work Brennan together. Valentin posed as Kevin Collins over the phone to get more information out of the French clinic about Anna, and Cullum was tracing the call, worked out that it had come from Port Charles instead of Ireland, meaning that his cover was already blown. And then the affair with Carly finally collided with her arrangement with Brennan. Lucas kept pressing her about the mystery man in her life with no idea that it was Valentin. Brennan showed up unannounced and found Valentin waiting with a gun. She came to me and Steinmauer as my attorney, Valentin told him, correcting whatever story Brennan had built in his head. Carly told Brennan she knew he had pulled her daughter into the WSB and that nothing else he had ever done for her, not Africa, which was getting Jason out of there, not the burning unit, which was helping Michael, or what he did for Jason, mattered after that. Oh, I'm sorry. Africa was lucky.
Oh, right.
Yep, sorry. Mattered after that. Valentin's warning to him was short. You guys aren't going to like how this ends. And then days later, at Drew's house, Valentin walked in armed and disarmed Brennan and demanded to know where Joss had been sent, telling him that it wouldn't matter if he lied or told the truth, it would end badly either way. So then the two men fought over the gun, and Nina, panicking, stabbed Brennan with the syringe that she was supposed to have been injecting Drew with that she hid under one of Wiley's trucks, and then went over and instead of taking the truck and hitting one of them over the head with it, she then took the syringe and thought that she was going to stab Valentin, and then at the last minute they flipped around and she stabbed Brennan. And Valentin said, "Nice shot," asked what was in it, and left him in Nina's hands with a parting, "Call me if he does." Word then soon reached him after that Anna had escaped custody in France, only to be caught again. Oh my gosh, that was like one of the best. Like she climbed all these walls, she took a taxi, like all this crazy stuff. But then that sent her towards a high security facility. He fell apart over it, blamed Cullum outright, and he said that he was going to break her out himself. Carly was caught off guard by the sight of him and he asked what she would do if it were Jason. She admitted that she loved Jason without being in love with him, unlike, as she put it, however Valentin so clearly felt about Anna.
I mean, she's not wrong, or she wasn't wrong. I don't know how he's feeling nowadays.
I can understand why she was not wrong at the time, but I don't think she'd even say that now.
And then it finally all came together. Valentin learned Liesl Obrecht had been taken to fill in for Britt Westbourne in whatever Sidwell and Colum were building, and knew there was no more time left to wait. He and Carly spent one last night together, the odds of him walking away 1,000 to 1 by his own count. He told her the months in the attic had turned out to be surprisingly great, surprisingly special. He told Charlotte his surrender was the only thing the WSB would take, that she'd always be his petite, and that he wasn't letting her run with him again. That was sad. That was very sad to watch. She wanted to go with him so bad. She didn't understand. His surrender didn't solve anything. It just left Colum holding 2 hostages worth even more than before, Joss and Liesl. It was Joss who finally broke the standoff, cutting a deal with the WSB contact named Z, agreeing to cover for Colum and shift blame elsewhere in exchange for full pardons for both Valentin and Jason. Z took it. Valentin came home not long after that, stepping out of a car in the hospital parking lot when Carly ran to him. Sonny reacted with open disgust, Lulu finally putting together exactly who had been hiding him this whole time. It only took her this long. Valentin demanded joint custody on the spot, telling Lulu that she'd lose the argument the second Charlotte turned 18 and got to choose for herself. Sonny confronted Carly directly, calling the relationship the worst mistake of her life, and brought up how Valentin had once had a hand in sabotaging his medicine. Valentin needled him right back about his history with Alexis, and when Sonny asked what Carly could possibly see in him, he told him simply, because he makes excellent coq au vin. That was like a real slap in the face to Sonny, because he is like master chef
I
over
didn't even
there.
think about that.
Yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about that. No, it would have been better if he said, because I make an excellent spaghetti sauce. Then that would have been a slap in the face. Sonny makes Italian, Valentin makes French.
Yeah, but still, I don't feel
They're
like
different.
Sonny. They are different. Thank you, but I don't think that Sonny. I think that was a big insult to Sonny. Like, I'm the one that cooks for you.
That's like comparing. I mean, other than it's like comparing French and Italian food. Like it'd be like saying, because they're totally different.
If you were in love with JD because he was such a great chef, and then you moved on to somebody else and told JD, well, I love him because he's such a great chef, that would be extra insulting. I don't think it matters what they're cooking.
But I don't think Carly would ever say Sonny didn't make the best sauce.
I feel like she twisted the knife a little extra there by talking about him cooking. Anyway.
She didn't say that. Valentin did.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then never mind. Sorry. Valentin thanked Joss for the deal that got him cleared, and she told him that it had never been about him, only about keeping her mother out of an accomplice charge. Then asked him to pass a message along. This is so good of her. Pass a message along to Anna Devane, a request that pulled him right back towards her, no matter what he and Carly had built in the meantime. Valentin went to see Anna for a warm, emotional reunion, telling her Charlotte was 16 going on 30, that Carly had sheltered him for 7 months and 16 days, and that had tried to reach her in France thinking she was on assignment with no idea that she'd actually been a prisoner the whole time. What he didn't see was Anna catching sight of Peter standing behind him, telling her that she'd been right all along and losing her train of thought completely. He only noticed the distraction, not the cause, and asked if she was all right. He told her Lulu was over him, that everyone deserved a second chance or a third or 16. And counting, he said. They hugged it out, and then back at Carly's afterwards, he told Carly that none of his history with Anna would touch what they had.
And if you're listening to this like years and years and years from now, that was the 16,000th episode. That's why there were so many 16s.
Yes. And then Valentin started talking about buying Windermere back almost immediately, drawing skepticism from Dante about what his return would mean for Charlotte, though Charlotte defended him without hesitation, telling everyone she wanted to be with him. He squared things away with Curtis over the crash rescue, confirming he had never once given up on him, that he had never given him up as a witness, and that he had an easy later moment with Carly. The two of them realizing they'd never actually settled whether they were the kind of couple that held hands in public. Oh, that was at the whatchamacallit bar. That was cute. Because she was like jelly that he had just gone and seen Anna.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cooking coq au vin again, he told Carly had checked in on Anna and that she would always be his first love, but it wouldn't change anything between the two of them. Carly asked him straight out if she'd only ever been a stop on the way back to Anna. He admitted that in a way she had been, but that finding her had changed everything. As they talked, Carly tripped over a small drill-proof. That was not small. That was a decent-sized case. Tripped over a drill-proof, self-destructing black box WSB property he had lifted from Windermere and was holding on to as leverage to get his frozen funds released faster. Say that like 3 times real fast. Not long after, Brick found Valentin shooting hoops at an outdoor court and used the moment to get him alone, giving him a few unwanted basketball pointers before landing on the real message: get out of town. Valentin worked out fast that Sonny had sent him. Brick confirmed it, called Valentin the runt of the Cassadine litter, and told him it's not over until it's over. Around that same stretch, Sonny cornered the ADA about whether Valentin had any charges left hanging over him. She snapped that it was Donna she was worried about, not Carly, and told him flatly that the WSB had already cleared Valentin, no warrants, nothing outstanding. When Sonny pushed her to manufacture something anyway, she refused outright. Valentin then went to Laura, hoping to convince her he'd actually changed and asking her for help to get Charlotte's living situation settled. Laura wasn't in a mood to make it easy on him. She told him the first step was admitting that he had made Charlotte's relationship with Lulu worse, not better, and that if he wanted any help from her, he would need to start backing Lulu up instead of undermining her. And then Brick showed up at Carly's with some flowers. Not long after, this time with more than a warning, he told her outright to stay away from Valentin, that whatever good he had done for Joss or in taking down Column didn't erase the rest of what he had done over the years. Then he offered her a flash drive loaded with WSB material on Valentin, framing it as a way out if she ever wanted it. Carly told him no, she didn't need it. What Brick didn't see, and what Valentin didn't find out either, was that Carly kept the drive anyway, hiding it in a drawer before Valentin ever got home. That wasn't really a good hiding spot, though. She just tossed it in the junk drawer. When he came in, she told him about Brick's offer and made it sound like she had turned it down flat. Dante and Lulu spent the afternoon arguing over whether Charlotte should get any say in where she lives. Dante pushed for it, Lulu convinced it would only widen the gap between them. Carly and Valentin, meanwhile, kept circling back to Nina and Brennan showing up at Windermere, both of them certain the two were hunting for the black box. Valentin figured it belonged to Brennan and told Carly he needed the leverage it gave him if he was going to win any real custody fight over Charlotte. It was around then that Lulu came to Carly's directly and told them both that she decided to support Charlotte and that she should be the one who chooses where she lives. Valentin, immediately suspicious, as we all were, asked if she'd talked to her mother about it. She hadn't. She said that this one was hers alone. The one thing they agreed on together was that whatever the arrangement ended up being, it couldn't mean Charlotte living out of a hotel suite. Alexis caught up with Valentin at Bobby's soon after and got an apology out of him. The first one for the authorities dragging her into questioning while he was still on the run. She told him to behave himself. He said that what he really wanted back was what belonged to him, and when she assumed he meant the Cassadine title and told him Ace was the heir, he corrected her. He meant the money, the assets the WSB had frozen, nothing more. Eventually, Valentin handed the black box over to Brennan outright. Brennan opened it and found information inside, connecting back to Drew. Around the same time, Valentin and Joss talked through his charges finally getting dropped for good, and he told her that he thought at least part of the reason was that he had saved her life. Right. His funds came through in full not long after that, unfrozen completely, and he planned a dinner to celebrate with Carly at the Metro Court, telling her more than once he intended to buy her something big to mark the occasion. At the table, Carly asked who was paying, half joking that it would be her again. No, he told her, his money was his own now, and he had a gift in mind for her that had nothing to do with anyone's approval. He brought up the black box again, too, wondering out loud why, out of everyone, Nina had wanted it so bad. Anna walked past the patio partway through and saw the two of them together, close. They weren't just close, they were smooching.
No, they were so kissing. Yeah.
They were smooching. In the middle of their dinner. Yeah, she was sad. They weren't just close. They were.
And as we record this, the episode is now on Hulu and we didn't watch it yet, so we don't know. It was a knife to the heart.
It was. She may be like hoping everything is good for him, but that doesn't make it any easier to see him with Carly.
No, because that has to be like the last person in the world that she would think. Although he did say that he was hiding in her attic, and he told Anna that. So I feel like whenever he was visiting her, there was kind of a dropping of a hint, but not really saying it.
Yeah. No,
he's like, oh yeah, she doesn't hate me anymore. Yeah, I tried to poison her, but it's okay now.
Right. I feel like it wasn't enough that you would expect to walk in on them kissing so publicly.
Right. Yeah. So
Poor Anna.
I know. I'm not going to like this.
You will.
Even
'cause
though it didn't seem like
you'll get to
it
see
didn't seem
more.
like either of them like really had the romantic connection whenever they got back together. But
Right. And either way, you'll get to see more shirtless Valentin, so you'll like it. It'll be okay. It doesn't matter who he ends up with. You see? Everyone else will
it's
get
not
that
just
smile.
about that.
You can't even hide it. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
First of all, he has very, very few of those kinds of scenes, and I get that smile a lot more. And he does not have as many scenes like that as a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
He doesn't. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. He probably has more behind the piano of him than that. So this is it.
I'm sorry.
Officially 10 years and 20 days? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep. I know. But yeah, so that is it for our deep dive into the first 10 years of Valentin Cassadine. I guess join us on Monday as we talk about this week's shows.
Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.